not knowing what does it mean by the probability. That's why it is a basic to them who don't know about the probability. And after few definitions and a few basic I can say formulas of the probability, so we can move to the next concept. And then we'll have a little bit uh, factorial, what does it mean by combination, what does mean by permutations. I think you have studied combination and permutations in ninth, 10th, I think so. Then we
No,
can
sir.
no,
No,
no permutation, I think you have might have been did.
No,
no,
sir, it
sir.
was in
That in
11
plus
and
when I
12 practically.
11 and 12.
Okay. Okay, that is also we require the basic, not much. So we'll see. I will try to focus on these two concepts as well, and based on that, we'll have one or two example. Right? We don't require much knowledge and so many results from the permutations and combinations. Only basic things we require. At least we should know the what is the formula of the permutations, right? What is the formula of the combination? What does it mean by combination, right? What exactly difference between the permutation and combination? When permutation should use? When combination should use? Nowadays, if you see in a competitive exams, I think almost you will get two, two, three questions on permutation and combinations, right? If you can give any type of the competitive exams, so you will get the that kind of the examples. Suppose three students were sitting in a row, right? So how many combinations or how many types they can sit in together? Suppose there are A, B, and C, three different students. So how many different types of setting arrangement we can do with these three students, right? So like that, there will be a different type of the examples. We are not going for such a type of the examples which is required for us, or which is the base for our curriculum. We will discuss such a kind of the examples, and we'll see, because this will be required whenever suppose there are three different bags are there. In one bag there are three red color balls are there. In another bag there are two yellow balls are there, and there is type of bag having three white balls are there. Suppose if I take two at a random, if we can take a two balls at a random, so then what is the probability getting a red? What is the probability getting a yellow? What is the probability getting a white? So to solve such a problems, we require the combination or permutations and knowledge, right? So can we start now,
Yes,
Aditya? Yeah,
sir.
okay. So let me share my slide, and then again I will go to the board. First, let me have a few more definitions and basic uh, theoretical assumptions or theoretical things about the probability. Then we can move the. Meanwhile, I have already uploaded a few videos on the YouTube, which I have uh, recorded for the BSS third year class in Tuljapur campus while teaching. So you can just go through that. So you will get the revision. Okay. Where I used totally PowerPoint presentation. That time I did not got that much of idea to use the mobile and doing this board and all these things. So that's why. And that time we are working from the home. So now I came to the office, so I can use board and marker pen and all these things. So that's why you can go to these um, uh, lectures as well. Have you seen some videos on the YouTube which I have given the lecture on this?
Yes, sir. The ones that you uploaded in TESOL also.
Ah, yeah, yeah, sure. So if you can go in that sequence, you will may find the few more. I think we have reached up to the definition of this probability. Uh, Number of favorable cases of the particular event A upon total number of the exhaustive class, or sometimes we call it as a number of the sample space, right? What is the sample space? Already we have discussed in the last class. So let us go with some of the basic uh, things about the probability. If let S be a sample space and A be an event in a S, and P of A is the probability satisfying the following axioms. Any probability for a particular event A, or any probability of A on any event S, will satisfy these following axioms. These are the basic axioms. The probability of any event ranges from 0 to 1. It will not exceed at any cost 1. You have to keep in mind. At the same time, it will not go to the negative as well. Means the probability of any events will lie between 0 to 1. Keep in mind that if you are solving any examples, if your answer is coming different, just like a 1.1, 1.5, like that, definitely you made some mistake somewhere. That is very sure. So that's why keep it in mind. The probability will always lies between 0 to 1. The probability of the entire space is 1, because you have considered the all possible chances, right? So the entire space, entire sample space, right, the probability will be 1, because you can take a union of this and you can get the above result as well. If a1 a2 and so on is a sequence of mutually exclusive events in a yes, then probability of a1 union u2 union u3 and so on is equals to probability of a1 plus probability pa2 plus so on, right? Suppose a simple example, if you can consider, suppose if I toss a single coin, what are the probabilities? There are two probabilities are there, either head or tail, right? So means sample space is what? H and T, right? These are the sample space. So the entire space means this is our space. So you can apply the probability of getting head union probability of getting tail. If you can add that, so getting a head is half, getting tail also half, means here A1 is a getting a head event and A2 is an event of getting a tail. So if you can add both the things, so you will get the entire space. So that is the, these are the basic three assumption of the probability. So let us move to the few more results based on that. So it is related to the
Sir, can
uh,
you go to the previous slide?
what?
Can you move to the previous slide?
Yeah. Yes. Can I move to the next
Okay,
one?
sir. Okay, okay. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Right. So these are the notations and different notations and results you also can say. So generally we use yes, capital S as a sample space. Sample space means what? All the possible outcomes of your events. That's the sample space. What is the A bar? A bar denotes not occurring, or sometime we call as a complementary events, right? Sometime we call as a bar, sometime we call a dash. These are the both are the same. If a union of both a union a bar is equals to s, if you can take a same example which I have mentioned just now, uh, tossing your single coin, so you can see the union of both, because complementary of head is complementary of tail and vice versa, right? So both if you can do, that's union will become whole sample space. If A intersection B is phi, if their intersection is coming up phi, means they're both of the events, means they are mutually exclusive. They are mutually exclusive, because now just which same example you can apply here as well. If union is phi, means event A occurs or event B occurs or both A and B occurs. If their intersection implies what? Both the events A and B occurs. And if they are bars, neither A nor B, means they are complementaries. So there is an addition rule, which is the same you might have been studied for the set theory. Here again the same.
Sir, can you go back to the previous slide?
Here.
Yes, sir.
Hmm. Can I move to the next one?
So,
Ah.
exactly, I didn't understand where do we use these, or these are given theorems that we apply.
These results.
Yeah, suppose we have two events
Ah.
and we A intersection B to find probability of
The
what.
meaning, you keep the meaning of these things, right? For example, this is the already no problem. A bar is also does not occur. Say union of this means what? Complementary. I said the example of tossing a coin, head and tail. You will get the two possibilities, right? So if you can make their unions, so you will get again whole sample space. That is the meaning. If their intersection is phi, means they are mutually exclusive. That is the meaning, right? So this what will we, how this result we can use, I will tell you here. This right here, what is telling, if two events A and B are mutually exclusive, right, then the probability of occurrence of either A or B is nothing but sum of this. So you know this result, probably, I mean general set result, union, you will have their intersection, but because of their mutual exclusiveness, that things become a zero, right? Here what they are saying, they are mutually exclusive means phi, and it is given here A and B are the mutually exclusive. That's why this subtraction is not appearing here. So sometime what will happen in examples, they will give these different probabilities and they will ask to find the union of this, right? They will tell that A and B are the mutually exclusive. These things, I will give, if possible, some example based on these results, how we can use these results. Okay.
Sir, could you explain once what is mutually exclusive? Like exactly, I'm not very clear with it.
Yeah. Means what? Their intersection should be pi. Intersection should be pi means what? Say, 1 minute. Can I use this?
Sir, can you just use a Venn diagram to explain? Maybe it will be easier for everyone to understand.
Yeah, I can do that. Just let me see first, if I could succeed on this. See, if I toss a one coin, right? So what are the sample spaces? There will be H and there will be T. These are the two sample space. This is my set S, right? This is my set S. Suppose my event A is what? Getting head only, right? So means what will happen, in my set only H will come, correct? And there will be another event called B, right? So getting tail only, so what are the possibility? Only one is there, right? Now you can tell me what it is telling. They are mutually exclusive. Mutually exclusive means what? A intersection B should be pi. Now you can see in these two set, is there is any common in set A and B? Is there any common element is there? There is no common element, so that's why we call it as phi. That's why we call it as phi. There is no common, right? That's why we call as these two sets A and B are mutually exclusive. Is it clear or not?
Okay, sir. Yes, sir.
So like
Yes, sir.
yeah, then this is the another result. It is same as an set which you have studied. A union B is equals to A plus B plus A union A intersection B. Only we are putting in a probability symbol. Okay, so let me clear this.
So
Ah,
we in the previous previous to previous slide, you said that A union would be phi if either A and B occurs or both occur, right? If it is already phi, then why are we putting P of A plus P of B minus P of A? I mean, is the last axiom not contradictory to the previous one?
Which one? Sorry, I'm not getting. Just let me go back and then
Previous, go
let
to previous slide, like
I will go to this slide.
previous.
This slide.
Here A union B is phi if both the event occur or either one of them occurs or both of them occur, right?
Yes, correct.
Next slide.
Uh,
So move to the next slide.
huh?
The last one. The last one is already A union B is equals to phi. Then why are we putting P of A plus P of B?
Means you are talking about this and this, na?
Yes, sir. That one and the last axiom.
Yeah, this point and this point. Let me check if I did any mistake out there. I don't think so. Let me check 1 minute. The result is that only. Yeah. No, that is I am talking about mutual exclusive, I think, no? Where is this? Yeah. A intersection phi. I think this should not be phi, I think.
Yes, sir.
This should not be phi.
Yeah,
Because of the
because-
copy paste, it is happened. It should not be phi.
yeah, because if A
Either it
union
is
B
a
is equal
probability
to
of
phi,
A upwards, P of A or a P of B.
yeah, because
Right.
if A union B is equal to phi, then there won't be any elements. Then how can we say even A occurs or even B occurs?
Uh,
If phi is there in
hmm.
the union of sets, there won't be any elements, right?
Yeah.
So we cannot actually say even A occurs or even B occurs.
Yeah, it is not a phi.
Yes.
It's wrong. Wrong. It is wrong. Either probability of A or probability of B. It should be, I think. Right. That because
But it will be P of A plus P of B minus P of A it's the proper formula of union, right?
yeah, it is a proper formula, but I'm writing it is in context of this also. It is not correct here. No, event A occurs or event B occurs or both. This is not phi. You just remove this phi. The
Huh.
meaning of this is nothing but either event A occurs or event B occurs or both event A and B occurs. That is the meaning. Because of here copy paste, it came the same. It is not phi. That phi should not be there. It is because means what there it is showing the union is empty, but it is not empty. There will be either A or B, right? Yeah, you are correct. Now it is clear.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
So where we are here. So here these are the results. So mutually exclusive already I told you means what either probability of A means intersections should be phi when just which we seen the tossing a coin of the examples. So if this is the another results, it is same as a, but you can see here not mutually exclusive. If it is mutually exclusive, this things will be again empty, right? Means it is a phi. Then it will be coming directly probability of A plus probability of B. So what are the compound events? The joint occurrence of the two or more events is called the compound events. Thus, compound event imply the simultaneous occurrence of two or more simple events. So here the already example is given. Tossing a two fair coins means here what we are doing, we are simultaneously tossing the two coins. That's why that is called as a compound events. Getting a head and getting a tail, it may appear simultaneously, right? So what is the first? One head appears. So what is the possibility of when we can toss the two coins? So the sample space will be what? Both head. First head, second tail, then tail, head, and tail. These are the sample spaces, right? So if you can take an event A, one head appearance. So at the time of one head, there is another possibility of the uh, second coin as a tail. So that's why these will be uh, yes, sets will become. Suppose two heads appears, this is the possibility. So similarly, if the bag contains 6 white, 6 red balls, and we can make a draw of 2 balls at random, then events are both the possibility of a white or a red. That's kind of events we are calling as a compound events. So let us move to this. So these are the some more definitions are there. Independent events, dependent events. If two or more events occur in such a way that the occurrence of one does not affect the occurrence of the another, they are said to be an independent. If a coin is tossed twice, the result of the second throw means there will not have any relation between first throw and second throw. Such a events we are calling as independent events. If the occurrence of one event influences the occurrence of the other, then the second event is said to be dependent on the first. If such events are happening, we call it as an dependent event. So already here one example is given. If we do not replace the first ball drawn, this will chance the composition of ball in the bag while making the second draw. Means if you cannot do not replacing that first ball, suppose there are two balls are there, one having a 6 red and 6 whites, and suppose if you are drawing two at a time randomly or one drawing at a randomly, right? And again, if you are not removing either that red ball or a white ball, so there is again chance to come the same ball, right? So that has a dependency. So such events we are calling as dependence. So I think we'll stop here with these basic things. Then can we solve few basic examples based on this?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So let me stop this meanwhile, and then we can go for the board now. Yeah. Yeah. Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Let's try a few examples based on these things on the. So if A union B union C is supposed to be the whole sample space, and A, B, and C are, read properly what exactly it is written, mutually exclusive. What does it mean by mutually exclusive? Again, I have we have discussed that just now. Events can the following and the following represents probability. probability. Okay. Probability of A is equals to 0.2. Probability of B is 0.7. Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
C is 0.1. So here is a point, just sometime it won't appear in the on the screen. So, but it is a this probability of A is equals to 0.4. This is the second example. Let me remove this. This is the second example. Probability of A is equals to 0.4. Probability of B is equals to 0.6. And probability of C is equals to 0.2. Okay. So first we have to see either these two events are represents the probability or not. How we can check it? Either these are representing probability or not. Yes. Can anybody tell me that how we can check it? So,
If the summation is 0 to in between 0 to 1.
okay. Then means what we have to find out exactly.
We have to add P of A plus P of B. I'm not sure, sir.
Okay, you are not sure.
Yeah.
See. So what the results we know? We know that probability of A union B union C should be a probability like a yes, right? Probability of means whole sample space, right? And we know that it should that we will see later on. So what does it mean by this? So this is same as probability of A union of probability of B plus probability. Is it right?
Yes, sir. And that equals right because P of X equals to 1.
Right. So, and these are the mutually exclusive, right? These are the mutually exclusive. So therefore we just can add what you said 0.2 plus 0.7 is equals to, sorry, plus 0.1. What is this? What is that total? Is it 1 or less than 1 or greater than 1?
It's 1.
Is it 1?
Yes.
Yeah, it is 1 means it is satisfying probability. Is it satisfying or not?
Yes, sir.
It is 1.2, right? Means as per the axioms of the probability, it is exceeds 1, means it will not represent the probability. It will not represent the probability. Okay. So let's go few more simple examples. Okay, to determine the following probabilities. Okay. This we can take. All right. Can I remove this? So two sample spaces.
Sir,
Yes.
so in the question that we just did, A union B union C was given that it is sample space, right? That is why we could assume that the probability of both of them were, I mean, P of A union B union C is equals to P of S, right?
Because under condition also it was given, they are mutually exclusive. As per the actually, if you want to find the union of probability of A union B, as per the rule, you know that probability of A plus probability of B and minus their intersection, A intersection B. But it was a mutual exclusive, that's why we removed this. It is the same for this A union B union C, right? It is the same probability of A plus probability of B plus probability of C minus their intersection, probability of A intersection B intersection C. Okay, so they are mutually exclusive means surely their intersection should be pi, right? So means it is a zero. So that's why we just added these three. Is it clear? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let us see one more example, which is good one. The sample space yes. The sample space yes. The sample space yes of no, space yes is given by S is equals to say A1, A2, A3 and A4. Okay. With probabilities with probabilities probability of A1 is equals to 0.3, probability of A2 is equals to 0.1, probability of A3 is equals to 0.4, probability of A4 is equals to 0.2. Right. Consider event A. Consider event A consider event A is equals to A1, A2 and say B is equals to A3 and A4. No, it having A2, A3 and A4. Okay. Determine the following determine the following probabilities. First, probability of A. Second, probability of B. Third, probability of A complement. Fourth, is it visible what I am writing on the board,
Yes, sir.
or it is looking little faint?
Clearly visible.
Fourth is probability of A intersection B. Fifth, probability of A union B. Then sixth, probability of A complement intersection B complement. Also check whether A and B are mutually exclusive. A and B are mutually exclusive. I will not write full. Okay, mutually exclusive. Okay. So let us start with these things. So what is there? What are the given things? So whole sample space means A1, A2, A3, A4 with the probabilities that probability A1 is given, probability of A2 is given, probability of A3 is also given and A4 is given. And there are two events on this sample space, yes, A and B. What event event A is nothing but A1 and comma A2. And event B is A2, A3 and A4. So what we have to find? We have to find probability of A1, A, probability of B, their complement, the intersection union, and probability of complement of A intersection complement of B. Right. So can you tell me first we will find the probability of A. So how we can find the probability of A? Yes. What will be the probability of A? Yes, what will be the probability of A?
So is it 1/2?
Yes.
Is it? No.
Sir, it's 2/4, so it's 1/2.
See, here you just have to add these two things. Now, what is the A set A1, A2 both, right? Means it is the probability of A1 plus probability of A2,
Okay, we just
right?
add it and not like find how the
Yes,
occur.
yes. So what will be that? 0.1 plus 0.3. So it will be a 0.4. So similarly, what we want? Probability of B. What will be that? Probability of A1 plus probability of A2 plus probability of, sorry, it is not E2, A3, A4. So A2, A3 and A4. So you can add these things. So what will you get? 0.1, 0.4, so it is 0.7. All right. So what is that for the next? Now you have to find the intersection, right? What will be the intersection? First, what we can find?
So first
A,
find the
intersection.
complementary, right?
Huh?
We have P A dash none, so we have to find the complementary first before A intersection B.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, okay, no problem. We can do that. I didn't see. Okay, what is this probability of A complement? Right. So one rule is known to us. Right. First, I will tell that one rule is known to us. What A and its A dash is nothing but the whole sample space. Is it correct? A and its A complement will be whole sample space. Right. So if we can apply the probability rule on this, so probability of A plus probability of A dash is whole sample space, and probability of whole sample space will be 1, right? So probability of A dash is nothing but 1 minus A dash is equals to probability of A. So if we can use this, therefore probability of A dash is nothing but 1 minus probability of A. So 1 minus probability of A
0.
is, huh?
Sir, A is the none will be 0.4.
Oh, sorry. Probability of A is what we did now here, 0.4.
Yes, sir.
So it
0.6.
is okay. So some part I have to remove. Which part I can remove now? Till that you can see this much. Then we can. So what we have to find next? Their intersection. Okay. A intersection B first we'll find. So what is the set A? Set A is this and set B is this. So A1 and A2 in the set A intersection. What is that? A2, A3 and A4. So what is the common in this both? Only this, right? So it is state A2. So implies that probability of A intersection B is probability of, so that is already given.
One.
Right. So similarly, you can find this, right? Complementary of A complement, probability of A, or you can say this is also by like this. Its complementary is nothing but 1 minus probability of A intersection B. We can use that, right?
So again you left A union B, the fifth bit.
I left A union B. Okay, I'm jumping. Okay, we'll do that. A union B. Let me remove this and then we'll do this. Yeah. Okay. So probability of A union B is nothing but probability of A plus probability of B minus probability of A intersection B. Right. So probability of A is already we have did here. That is 0.4 plus 0.7, and what is the intersection also already we have did minus 0.1. So what is this total? 1 point only we have to remove. It is 1.
Yes, sir. We can also, like we did A intersection B, we can do it in that way also, right?
Mhm. Now, what is the remaining one? Last this, right? So we can use this as a probability of A complementary intersection of intersection A complement intersection with B complement is same as 1 minus probability of A intersection B, which we have used here. We can use the same. So it is 1 minus, that is 0.1, so it is 0.9. So these are the simple quick examples just to see the applicability of these, what I can say, applicability of these different rules. So after that, I will go to the, is it clear? Should I remove this and can I move to the next concept?
So
Hmm?
also to the last question, if they are mutually exclusive, they are not, right? You show that A intersection B is not phi.
Correct, correct. Already we did that. Their intersection is here is non-empty, right? This is already we did here. Means what? They are not mutually exclusive. If it would have become 0, then we would have been say that A and B are the two mutually exclusive events, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Let's should I remove this?
Yes, sir, I think. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you. There is another definition called as a factorial. You might have been, I don't know either you have studied or not. Factorial is again a function, right? Which gives the uh, product of that particular number, and it is generally denoted by, I will show that. It is a just like a procedure, right? As it is just a multiplication of that particular number. So generally we denote the factorial as like this symbol. Have you seen this symbol somewhere? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Before this we call as a factorial symbol. And what we give, it will give the product of first n natural numbers, right, up to n. So it does means 1 cross 2 cross 3 cross 4 cross 5 cross so on cross n minus 1 cross n. This is the definition of factorial. So let us try with 1 factorial. Default 0 factorial is 1. So 1 factorial is also 1. 2 factorial is 1 cross 2, it is a 2. So 3 factorial is 1 cross 2 cross 3. So it will be a 6. So 4 factorial is 1 cross 2 cross 3 cross 4. How much it is? Up to this is 6. 6 fours are
24. How is 0 factorial 1?
that has what I can say. It has some proof. If you need, I can give that also. Okay, we can prove that how 0 factorial is 1. Okay, by
Okay.
using some of the properties of that n factorial.
Okay, sir. We need factorials for probability.
Not probability when you will see the combination and permutations. So at that point of time, you will use this.
Yes.
Is it 120? So another this it has n factorial is nothing but it is result is n minus 1 factorial into n. And this is one more result is there. Yeah, n into n minus 1 factorial. And factorial you can write as n into n minus 1 factorial. You can put this particular case somewhere and you can check it out. Right? Here also you can check it. It is the same. It is the same as 4 factorial into 5. This is the general result we can draw from the this forms. Why I want all these things? Now I will tell you that why we want. Because uh, we have to study some permutation and combination. Na? So permutation means what? It is just an arrangement of n things in n different ways. Right? Arrangements of things in a different ways. Suppose if you are n things, how many ways you are arranging? That is number. That number is nothing but a permutations, right? For example, if you are having n things and if you are arranging r different ways, then it is generally denoted by npr. It is a generally denoted by permutation npr. Suppose you have n things and if you are arranging r ways. Is it clear this this factorial? I have one more example of this. Let me check here. So it is just a multiplication of your consecutive numbers, right? Whatever the number of factorial you want, that is the just a multiplication of that particular number. Suppose if you are having 5 factorial means you will multiply 1 cross 2 cross 1, 2, 3 up to 5 like that. Let me go for lecture. Then house. So is it clear factorial?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we'll see the permutation.
Sir, can we have a break?
Yeah, sure. Can we start?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So there are two more definitions I will tell, and then we'll go to the another different set of the definitions where actually we need to put the more efforts, right? So another definition called as permutations. If you are having the n things and if you are arranging in r ways, so generally we call it as NPR. It is a notation is like this. NPR means n things you are arranging r times, okay, or r ways. But in a permutations, order is important. How you are keeping an order, right? It is very important. But in case of the combination, you mix any things, no problem, right? So that is the major difference in permutation and combinations. So I directly should I write the formula for it? So NPR is nothing but why I have mentioned the factorial. Now you will get to know that it is n factorial upon n minus r factorial, right? So generally it is nothing but there are n things are there, right? N things are there and you are arranging in r ways, right? So we are calling it as NPR, permutation of n thing r ways. How many things are there? You have n things and you are arranging r ways, which is nothing but n factorial upon n minus r factorial, right? For example, suppose there are three letters are given to you, A, B, C. Okay. If suppose we are having and taking two at a time, suppose there are A, B, and C. Are three letters are there, and if you can take two at a time, right? Two letters, two at a time means two things you can take at a time. At a time, then what are the ways we can write? What are the ways we can write? These are the three. First, what will be that AB, okay? AC, is it okay? Let's start from B, BC, right? BC, B, BC, okay? AB, AC, BC. Then you can change the order and you can write this different way. AB, BA, BC, then CA, CB, and what is the another combination we can write? CS, AC is row, okay, AB, AC, BC. Then if you can start with this C, okay, CA, CB, and BC. BC is written already. One more is remained. What is that remained one? CB is written. Yeah, CA, BC is there. BC is there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What is the one missing? AB, BA is not there. Okay, BA is there. So if you can take three letters are there, A, B, C, and if you can take any two at a time, so how many combination, how many ways you can write that? You can write in a 6 ways.
So
Okay.
what R again?
Huh?
What was R? What does R stand for?
Two times. Two. Yeah. If you can put here now, so how many things are there total?
3.
3. P, 2. Right. So 3 factorial upon 3 minus 2 factorial. So what will happen? It will be 6. Is it same? Is it same?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So that is the thing. But here one thing is very important because here order is matter. In the case of the permutations, So these are the not same. AB will not be same as a BA. BC will not be same as CB. Okay. In a
AB is not equal to BA.
AB is not equals to BA. I wrote AB BA. Yeah, AC I wrote. Sorry. Yeah, these are the not same. AB should not be same as an BA. This ACCA is both are not same. These two are again different, and already these two are different. Okay, in the case of the permutations, but it will not be in a combinations, right? So there are few more results are there or not? Let me write one more result if you want, but I don't think so. Will go. Okay, so this is just I'm telling about the permutations. If we can take n things taking r at a time, it is denoted by npr, and it is defined by n factorial upon n minus r factorial. This is a particular example of the same. So now I will write for the combinations. There are n things are there, and you are taking r at a time, then it is denoted by ncr, and it is n factorial into r factorial into n minus r factorial. Is it right? Yeah, n minus r into r factorial. So this is the definition of the combination. Means if you are having n things and combined taking r at a time, then their combination will be like this. In this case, if you can take the same letter, A, B, C are there, and if you can take two at a time, if you are taking two at a time, so there will be, in this case, AB is the same as BC, because we are only combining the two letters. So combination means same. So AB is same here, BC. Sorry, BA. So therefore, it total will come as a only three combinations. So you will have only three kind of combination: AB, BC, and CA. Right? So there will not have be any another combinations, because here it will be a same. Here it will be same, and here it will be a AC. It will be a same. Okay. Either you write here AC or a CA, no problem. So this is nothing but a combination. If you can check while putting the formula, it is nothing but 3C2. Right? It is nothing but 3 factorial upon what is this? We are taking 2 at a time, and n minus means 3 minus 2 factorial. So it will be a 6 factorial upon 2 factorial. Sorry. It is 6 upon 2 factorial means 2, and it will become 3. Right? So this is the just when we are going to use that time, I will again recall these things. So let's go to the next definition. So can I remove this part?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So only one thing you have to keep in mind. One is this formula and the difference between permutation and combination. In combination, order doesn't matter, but in permutation, order matters. That's why here these things are AB is not equal to same as a BA, right? That is only you have to keep in mind these two important things. The rest of things are not that is that much important. So now we'll have the next definition called as a random variable. So what is mean by random variable? Right. So we have studied the random experiments, right? We have studied the random experiments. So what this concept is nothing but we will assign value of your outcomes. We can assign the value for each and every outcomes. That is nothing but a random variable. Means what? Suppose you cost suppose First example is supposed to be na, if you toss a coin, okay, toss the coin. So what are the probabilities are there, or a sample space is there? Head and tail. Is it so?
Yes, sir.
Suppose there are two coins you have tossed. So what will be your sample space? Head, both should be head and tail, tail and head, tail and tail. Okay. And suppose there are three coins if we have tossed. The sample space will be head, head, tail, head, tail, tail. You have to tell me few more. Let me write first.
H.
Uh, then head, tail, head. 1, 2,
3, 4.
1, 2, 3, 4. Then I will write first tail, second tail, then head. First tail, uh, head, head. Is it different or it is same? I wrote. It is not. Tail, 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 and what is the remained one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. One more is remained. What is the remained one?
THT.
Tail, tail is there. So tail, head, tail. Is it right?
Yes, sir.
So these are the sample places. Suppose there is a die. If I am tossing a single die, what are the probabilities is there? What is the sample space? 1, 2, 3. Either I will get 1 or 2 or a 3 or a 5 or a 6, right? So it is this. So if you, I can toss a two coins, so there will have a very lengthy things we have to write, but I will not write that. There are first one line I will write, and then I will tell you that things. So there is this. So like this, you will have the things. So there are 36 outcomes will be there. So what we are doing in random variable, these 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 outcomes we are assigning a real value. We are assigning a real value to each probability outcomes. So here, suppose head is 0 and tail is 1, right? So here, so for this also, how many heads are coming and how many tails are coming, like that. Differently, we are assigning a real value number. So let me go to the PowerPoint presentation for the actual definition, which you can, yeah, this is one. Okay, so I will share this, which can again I will explain on the board, but you should know the actual definition of the random variable rather than telling roughly. Yeah, so suppose these are the few more examples are there. When two dice are thrown, find the probability of getting doublets. Doublets means what? On each things, two numbers has to be come, correct? In each this, I'm usable.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so in both the dice, same number should be appear, and that is the this. So total number of sample space here, just I have said it is a 36. So that's why it is a 36 and upon 6. So this is a simple example. I will not go here. So this PPT already I will upload on the Moodle, so you can find this and you can do some exercise on this. But I'm interested to on the random variable, right? So what is the definition it is telling? A variable whose value is a number determined by the outcome of the random experiment, right? Outcome of the random experiments. So what are these? Either if I'm tossing a single coin, I'm tossing a double coin, or I am tossing a die, right? So whatever the values are appearing, whatever the outcomes is coming, so we are giving real value to these outcomes. So that is nothing but a random variable, but it is still, it is abstract. So yeah, and generally we denoted by any variables x, y, z. Okay, so this is a simple example, right? When if I will toss a 2 coins, when if I will toss a 2 coins, so what will be the outcomes? Either both head, both tail, head, tail, and tail, head. So if I will assign the value for outcome of the uh, head only, so we will put the sample points, means we are assigning the value, right? We are assigning the value for both head. I am assigning 2. If it is a one head and tail, I am assigning 1. If it is one head and tail, also 1. So there is no head in this last, so I am assigning the value 0. Means what happened now? The outcomes is lies between 0 to 2. Right? Is it clear? We are assigning the value for the outcomes. So that's why now you can see you have converted this abstract probability into real numbers, right? So the each outcomes we have converted into a single number. So this is nothing but random variables. So now your x is lies between what? 0 to 2, right? So another example also we can take it here. So corresponding to that variable, there will have the function, right? That we call as a random function. So usually each random variable xi, the probability for each is there. So for each probability, there will have each outcome will have, there is a probability, right? For each and every outcome, you will have one probability. Suppose your p of x is equals to x. I think it is x1, x2, x3. It should be a x1, x2, x3, not x1, x1. It is a mistake over here. So then for first value, what is the probability to corresponding to first one is 1 by 4. So what is the possibility that to get either a tail and head or a head and tail, there is 1 by 4 only, right? Similarly for here. So what is the getting the possibility to both the heads? Only one. So that is 1 by 4. So getting possibility of no head is also 1 by 4, right? And getting possibility of only one head is a 2. So that is 2 by 4. Yes?
So based on the previous example of head and that one, right? Head, tail.
Yes.
Tossing of 2 coins together.
Yeah.
It's based on that, right?
Yeah, it is based on this only previous example. This whole explanation is based on 1 minute. It is a back. So it is. Can you see this board also?
Which boards?
Board. You can see my board. No. Board. Whiteboard. You can see marker board.
Yes, sir.
Huh? So it is based on this example only. So what we did, we are assigning value of each and every variable. Yeah, 1 minute. Yeah. So what we are doing? So we did one experiment of tossing the 2 coins, right? We did one experiment tossing of the 2 coins. Let me stop little time. Okay. So what we did, we tossed the 2 coins simultaneously. So what will be your outcomes? These are the outcomes, right? So for this, we are assigning the real number for each, right? Suppose we our event supposed to be on a head only. So what is the things? There is no head here. Okay, here one head is there. Here one head is there. So here are the two heads, right? So same things we are wrote in a tabular form, right? So x is equals to what is that? 0. Okay, x is equals to we are putting here. Suppose these are the values we are assigning. Say x1 is equals to 0. Right. So you tell me. So there is no head having one possibility, right? So what is the possibility to the corresponding x? Probability of that not having head. Is it 1/4?
So I'm not getting it.
You are not getting it. So what we are doing? Suppose for this particular sample space, this particular sample space, what we are doing? We are putting a real value. We are giving a real value to each outcome. For each outcome, we are giving some real value, right? And suppose for this, suppose if I tossed 2 coins, these are the samples, right? And suppose if we are putting a particular values for this in a such a way that for a getting a head, for a getting a head, okay. So how many heads are here? 2, right? Getting one head, it is one, and for this tail there is no head appears, so it is a 0, right? So now you tell me, not getting a head, what is that probability? 1/4.
Yes.
Getting at least one head, what is the probability?
2/4,
It is
1/2.
1/4.
1/2.
That is 1/2, right? And uh, getting what is the remain? No head, no tail, and one head. Both heads, sorry, both heads.
1/4.
1/4. So what we did, we are assigning to this outcome some real values like this 0, 1, 2. Means just how many outcomes are coming. I will give one more example, and if you can check some of this probability again, some of this probability. What will be that? Probability of x is nothing but probability of x1 plus probability of x2 plus probability of x3. So what will come? It is 1/4 plus 1 by, I will write here 2/4. So because it will be easy for calculation. So 4 is uncommon. So again it will be a 4. So it is 1. Means it is satisfying the probability law. Right? I will take one more example so it may clear more on this. Suppose if we toss 3 coins, so what will happen? Okay. For tossing 3 coins and getting a head. This is our event A is getting a head. So if we can toss 3 coins, so what are our sample spaces? I removed head, 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 tail, head, tail, tail, head, tail, head, then tail, tail, head, tail, head, head. Is it there? No. So tail, head, tail, and tail, tail, tail. Is it 8? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right? So now you tell me getting a head. You have to tell me the probabilities. So if you can assign how many heads are here?
3.
3. Here 2, 1, here 2, here 1, here 2, and here 1, and here 0. Means means all your probabilities, whatever it may be. So we are assigning for each outcome as an one real number. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Thank you. Now these are your means what your value of x is taking either what, either 0, either 1, either 2 or a 3. Means for each outcome we are giving a real value, right? And this particular x, because your x is going to vary between 0 to 3, so that's why we call it as a random variable. For a random experiments we are assigning a real value to each outcomes, and we take that set together, and that's why we call it as a random variable, right? So now we'll do the same with what table we have did that, and that is called as uh, that you will get the detail about this random experiments. Okay. Here what will be x. So what is your x is highest taking? Say x1 is equals to. We'll go to highest to lowest. X1 is equals to 3. X2 is equals to 2. X3 is equals to 1, and X4 is equals to 0. Right? We'll find the probability of corresponding of this all x, and generally we denote some xi because it is x1, x2, x3, x4, right? So what is this for 3? What is the probability of getting this?
1 by 8.
1 by 8. Oh, thank you. This
3 by 8.
1, 2, 3. So it is a 3 by 8. Getting 1, 1, 2, 3. Again, this 3 by 8. I'm right? If I'm not right, my things will change, no problem. X4 is 0. 0 is
1 by
only 1.
1 by
1
8.
by 8. So therefore, now if we can check the total probability of this, probability of x1 plus probability of x2 plus probability of x3 plus probability of x4. So what is this? So 1 by 8 plus 3 by 8 plus 3 by 8 plus 1 by 8. So 336, and this is 8. So 8 by 8 means it is a correct. Right? So means what? Summation of p of xi. This will tell us that summation of p of xi is 1. Means probability of sum of each random variable. Right? For the each random variable x, there will have the probability p of x I, right? And its sum will surely come 1. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So now, what is the time?
1:10.
So how many minutes are left for us?
I think another 20 minutes.
Okay, thank you. So let's. It is my PPT is there. You can see my PPTs. No.
No, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. So let me share my PPT. Then I will explain few more definitions. There are so many definitions in a basic. Then you will have different things. Okay. So now is it visible to you?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So in a random variable, there are two more definition are there. One is called as a discrete random variable, another is called as continuous random variable. What does it mean by discrete? It is the same as already I think I have explained the discrete data. Is it so? We have discussed the discrete data.
Yes, sir.
The meaning is here also same in a discrete random variable. If your x corresponding x is taking the value 0, 1, 2, 3, so on, that corresponding variable will be called as a discrete variable, right? If a random variable takes only a finite or countable number of values, it is called a discrete variable. For example, when 3 coins are tossed, the number of heads obtained is the random variable x, assumes the values which we have seen now 0, 1, 2 and 3, which forms a countable set. So if such a variable is there, we call it as a discrete random variable. Can you tell me any another example of same discrete random variable? Anybody can quickly tell me?
Dice, tossing a dice.
Yeah, tossing a dice, either and getting a odd numbers, getting a even numbers, right? If I'm tossing a 2 coins and getting a some 6, it is again a example of discrete random variable, right? Thank you. So discrete random variable x, which can take the any value in a certain interval, is called here. The continuous should words continuous should come. So it is a typing error here. So the definition of continuous random variable is what? A random variable x which takes any values between a certain interval is called a continuous random variable, which I have discussed while telling about the continuous data. It is the same here, right? But here we are talking about the probability. So note that the probability of any single value at x of value of x is a 0, means per particular same single value will be there, then surely the probability of that corresponding variable x will be 0. Thus continuous random variable takes values only between two given limits. Okay, for example, the height of student in a particular class lies between 4 feet to 6 feet. So how we can write the same statement in mathematically? It is a set of data or set of students such that x is denoted the height. So set of all those students whose height is lies between 4 less equals to x less equals than 6, right? Similarly, the maximum life of electric bulbs in hours. See, the same we can convert into discrete as well. The last example, the maximum life of electric bulbs is a 200 hours. So for this, so you can write that in a mathematical way, that 0 is less than x is less equals to 200. Can we convert the same example in a discrete last example? Yes. How? Suppose if I am writing this example in a no, again it will be continuous only. Yeah. I was thinking if it can I write seconds, there will be again it will come a nanosecond, microsecond, so and so. So it is difficult. Yeah. So is it clear the definition of random variable, discrete random variable and continuous random variable? Is it clear? Yes, please.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So now we'll go to the next definition called as probability mass function. Let x be a discrete random variable which assumes the values say x1, x2, so on, xn. With each of these values, we have associated a number called as a probability pi. For I is equals to again where is 1, 2, 3, so on. Yeah, this is called as the probability of xi satisfying the following condition. Pi is equals to 0 for all I. So actually, it is there is a symbol is missing, I think here. Okay, for all pi it is missing. If it is satisfying the two conditions and their summation of all probabilities, here a symbol I will write, it should be a positive. It is greater equals to. Okay, this symbol is here. Probability of pi's is greater equals to 0 means there will not have any negative probability, that is non-negative functions. PIR all are non-negative. and summation of all PIs means what? Summation of all probabilities, if we can add, it should be a 1. If it is satisfying these two conditions, then we can call it as a probability mass function. Okay, this function Pi or P of xi is called the probability mass function of a discrete random variable x, and the set of all possible orders, say x comma P of xi, is called the probability distribution of the random variable x. So this is the definition of the probability distribution for the random variable, which is actually we have started now our syllabus. So is it clear? If you anyone have doubt, please ask me again. We can clear here. Yes.
So can you go back to the previous slide?
Yeah. Thank you. One minute. Let me give one. This one.
Yes, sir.
So if your function is satisfying these two conditions, we will call it as a probability mass function. And this order x with respect to this probability of random variable x, this particular order pair is nothing but the probability distribution of the random variable x.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
It is okay, fine?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, let us move to the next. So this is again same elaborately want to say x corresponding to P of xi is the probability. So let us move to the another definition called as a discrete probability distribution. Okay, discrete probability distribution. Here is nothing is there. Let me go to the next. This is important definition. Probability density function, PDF. It is not your available PDF portable document. Okay, it is a probability density function. When we can say that it is a probability density function, if a function f is said to be a probability density function of a continuous random variable x, if it satisfies the following properties. What are these properties? It should be a non-zero, right? It should be a non-negative, sorry, not non-zero. It should be a non-negative function. And another is that integration, if you can take over minus infinity to infinity, it should become 1. If such a function is satisfying these two conditions, then we call that function as a probability density function. Is it clear? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So these two conditions has to be satisfied at corresponding functions.
Can you go to the previous one?
Hmm.
So if it is greater than 0, why, okay, the x can take a negative value. If x is taking a negative value, then how will,
Not surely its function should be negative.
but sir, your denotation is minus infinity.
Yeah. If suppose my function is mod x kind of function or x square kind of function. Suppose for example, if I am taking x between -5 to +5, okay. X is ranging where -5 to +5, and my function f of x is equals to 100 minus x. Okay. Now what will be happen?
Sir, can you repeat that again? I lost you.
You can laugh. Okay. Suppose my x is lies between -5 to 5 as a particular case if I want to take, right?
Yes, sir.
If your x is lies between -5 to +5, and my function f of x is defined in such a way that 100 minus x. So what will happen?
Okay.
Huh?
Yes. Yes, sir. Got
It is like that. Is it clear now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So here is one example is given. Okay. So we'll try to solve this example. A random variable has the following probability distribution. So values are also given and probability is also given. So determine the value of A because here A is unknown. Okay. First, what we want to find? We have to find first A, then second, find the probability of X when your X is strictly less than 3. Probability of X is less equals to 3. Probability of X greater than 7. And if it is a lies between 2 to 5, and it is strictly lies between 2 and 5, means 2 and 5 is not taking care. Okay, so let me stop my sharing. Meanwhile, if you want to take a screenshot of this example, please take it. So I am going to stop the share screen and we can solve this on the board. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, please write down that example. Then we can solve the same example on the board. Is it required? Otherwise, can I say on the slide itself? Which is the find?
Yes, sir. You can do any of it.
Should I continue on the PowerPoint?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir, can you do it on the board?
Okay. Okay, we can do on the board also. Yeah. But I have to see that this one. Okay. So we have given that table with probability distributions. So we check that and we find that on the different conditions. So what is that value of the x and corresponding probability? It is up to 8. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And it is A, 3A, 5A, 7A, 9A, 11A, 13A, 15A, and 17A. Is it right? I think okay. Right. So one thing we know that about the probability distribution is that the sum of all P of xi, sum of P of xi should be 1. Right. So the give we know that what we know that so probability summation of P of xi is equals to 1. Okay. So this is I can say given things. So let us take advantage of this and we'll add all the probabilities. Therefore, we'll add all these things. Summation of P of xi is nothing but it is a plus 3a. Meanwhile, please add all these and tell me the what is the addition of these things. 5a, 7a plus 9e plus 11a plus 13a plus 15a plus 17a. What is the total of this all is? Yes. What is the sum of this? Hello, anybody is there?
So 61A.
This is a whole together, all together.
Yes, so
Please check again.
yeah, 80.
81. A.
Yeah, it is a 81a. So we know that this P of xi, all for all xi should be, it will not exceed 1, it is equals to 1. So therefore, a is equals to 1 upon 81, right? So therefore, now I will remove this part, and if I can try to write all these things here, because now what A is known to you. So it is 1 upon 81, it is 3 upon 81, it is 5 upon 81, 7 upon 81, 9 upon 81, 11 upon 81, 13 upon 81, 15 upon 81, and 17 upon 81. So now, what was the first case? We have to find the probability of Ax strictly less than 3, right? So means what? Probability of X strictly less than 3 means what? Yes, can anybody tell that it is the sum of what? It is probability at X is equals to 0 plus probability X is
1
equals to
plus
1
x2.
plus probability at X is equals to
2.
2, because 3 is not included here, right? 3 less than 3. So what is this? X0 is known to you. 1 upon 81 plus 3 upon 81 plus 5 upon 81. So 81 will be the common. So what is this? 8, 9. Okay. So you just 1 upon 9 what you will implement. So what is the second case? Probability at means we have to add now 3 also, right? So second case is what? Probability of X less equals to 3 means this plus one more we have to add, right? Can I write like this? Probability of X strictly less than 3 plus probability at X is equals to 3. Is it the same what I'm writing?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so just you have to add it. 981 plus what was the remaining? 381. So it is 1281, right? So what is the next one? Probability at what?
So
Yes.
it
Sir,
will
it is 7a.
7 by 8.
7 by 81.
3 is the X, the probability of 7 by 8.
Okay. Sorry. It is a 7. So it is 16. Thank you. So what is the next one? Can I remove this part now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So what is the next? Probability of what is that? Probability third is what? X greater than 7. Probability, is it the same? Probability X greater than 7. So how we can find that probability X greater than 7?
So it will just be the probability of
Probability of 8.
Let me check more before that. Yes. Yes.
it will just be probability of X equals to 8.
Means remainder one only, right? It is a probability at X is equals to 8. And what is it? It is 17 upon 81. So what is the next one? Between 2 to 5. Probability of X between 2 to 5. 2 less equals to X less equals to 5. So what does it mean? Probability at X is equals to 2 plus X is equals to 3 plus probability at X is equals to 4 and probability at X is equals to 5. Right?
The
So
2
just
5 are not included, right?
Yes.
included.
Less than equal to, right?
Question, sir.
In question, no, that is the next question which is not included in both.
Okay.
Next question is same. 2 strictly less than X less than 5. Where it is not included 2 and 4 means only 3 and 4 are there. Okay, just you can do that. So what is the next one? So these are the things. Then you will get the corresponding this function, say f of x. So this is a corresponding function to each probability outcomes. Is it clear how to do this?
Yes, sir.
So now, let me check. We can do one more exercise if possible. Yeah.
Sir, it's already time. It's already time. It's 1:33.
Time is already 1:33. Yeah, only I will do one simple example. Okay. Not only based on this. Either we can check the given function is a probability function or probability density function or not. That only we can check. One example based on that I will see. That is, it will take hardly 1 minute or 2. Okay. Can I do that?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. To check or examine whether the function f of x examine whether the following function is PDF. Okay, PDF means here not your PDF, it is a probability density function. So it is defined as f of x is equals to 5x4, where x is lies between 0 less than x is less than 1. Okay, of a continuous random variable, of a continuous random variable. Okay, so what are the things are there? Given things we'll write. Given that the function f of x is equals to 5x raised to 4, 0 less than x less than 1. Okay, so you tell me what is the definition of the probability density function? Yes, it should be a non-negative, and the integration of that function should be 1. So is it non-negative?
Yes, sir.
Right. If we can put any value between 0 to 1, it is not attending any negative number, right? Surely it is a positive. So first condition is satisfying. So therefore, the second condition is what? Minus infinity to infinity, function f of x dx should be 1, right? So this is the second function, second condition. So let us check with this. So minus infinity to plus infinity, what is your function f of x here? So it is 5x raised to 4 dx. So limits are here 0 to 1. So we'll change this limit according to given function 0 to 1, 5x raised to 4 dx. So what is the 5 is the constant? I will take outside of the integration 0 to 1 x raised to 4 dx. So we know the one formula x raised to n is nothing but x raised to n plus 1 upon n plus 1 plus some constant c. If it is a which integration this is? Indefinite integration, right? So but it is a definite, so no problem. So otherwise if it is like this, so I can write a and b, and I can write here a and b, right? So therefore we can solve this integration 5 into take the integration of this x raised to 4 means add 1, so 5 divided by 5 and the limit 0 to 1. So this 5 is this 5, if you can take the outside because it is independent of x, so this 5 get cancelled with this 5, so only remained is x raised to 0 to 1, x raised to 5 0 to 1. Take the upper limit, so it is 1 raised to 5 minus 0 raised to 5, and it is 1. So it is satisfying both the condition. Therefore, this corresponding function is a probability density function. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so can we stop here?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you, thank you, thank you for your cooperation. So have a nice day.
You too,
We'll
sir.
meet. Yeah, thank you.